Shalom everyone. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, and through that strength, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Parashat Shlach Tafshin Pei Daled. After the sin of the Meraglim, Hashem says to Moshe, Am Yisrael does not believe in Hashem, I will strike them with a plague and annihilate them. Moshe says to Hashem, but then everyone will think that you don't have the strength to bring them to Eretz Yisrael, it will be a chilul Hashem. And then Moshe says to Hashem the following pasuk: Ve'ata yigdalna koach Adonai kasher dibarta lemor. May the strength of Hashem increase as you spoke. We're going to focus on this pasuk. For now, let's continue. May the strength of Hashem increase as you spoke, saying, Hashem is slow to anger. He forgives and does not forgive. Interpreted to mean, to some he forgives and to some he doesn't. Please forgive the people in your kindness. And Hashem said, I forgive them as you said. What does it mean, that pasuk that we're focusing on? Yigdalna koach Adonai, may the strength of Hashem increase. Hashem's strength needs to increase. What does it mean that Hashem's strength will increase? What does it mean that Hashem doesn't have enough strength? What is going on here? The commentators understand this pasuk to be connected to the psukim coming after it, which speak about the kindness of Hashem. Hashem is slow to anger, Hashem forgives. This is what Hashem says, and Moshe says to Hashem, may your strength of kindness, of forgiveness grow and overcome your trait of midat adin, of harsh judgment. May the forgiveness overcome the judgment and forgive the people. Still, it's very difficult to understand. What does it mean that Hashem will cause Hashem's forgiveness to overcome His anger? Is Hashem influenced by different requests or things that we say? We're going to influence His emotions, and His forgiveness is going to overcome His anger? Still not clear. Before we answer this, I'd like to point out a few things. Number one, the commentators make the point that to grow, for a person to grow, will give him more strength to forgive. You have to be a greater person in order to forgive than to be a person who punishes someone else. And that has to do with the pasuk, Yigdalna koach Adonai, may the strength of Hashem increase. Number two, there are different midrashim about what's happening here between Moshe and Hashem. In one of these midrashim in Masechet Shabbat, the Gemara says that Hashem says to Moshe, Haya lecha la'ozreini, you should have helped me. Hashem says to Moshe, I need your help. In another midrash, in Masechet Sanhedrin, Hashem and Moshe are arguing, does the trait of mercy, is it relevant, of Hashem being slow to anger, is it relevant only for righteous people, or even for people who commit sins, who do things wrong? And the questions that we ask only seem to be growing stronger and stronger. What does all this mean? Why is Hashem influenced by what people will say to him, what he should do with his different traits? And if he will be greater, then he will forgive. What does all of this mean? I think that the Torah uses this image of Hashem as if he has human traits for two purposes. A, that we should be able to take a little peek behind the curtains to see how Hashem runs his world. There is judgment in the world, there is mercy and forgiveness in the world. Both of them are necessary in the way that Hashem runs the world. Once this overcomes, and yes, our behavior can influence. Why? Because if we accept the yoke of Hashem through Hashem being merciful and forgiving, then it is not necessary for Hashem to apply the trait of judgment in order to thrust the yoke of Hashem upon us. And B, because by using these human images of Hashem, Hashem is teaching us, the Torah is teaching us how to emulate Hashem. We should be greater people and be able to forgive rather than be angry and punish. We should make the greatest effort to bring positive influence to the world through mercy and forgiveness, so that we won't have to use this quality of punishment, of judgment. We have to have that in our toolbox. But as much as possible, if we can influence the world through positive attitudes, through forgiveness and mercy, then we can return the judgment back into its place in the closet, saving it for when we need it, but use it as little as possible, make it minimal. And can you think of situations in the world that we live in now? Can you think of places in our lives today that these messages are relevant for how we should behave within Am Yisrael today? Shabbat Shalom.